Hey, what's going on everyone? Curtis here. In today's video, I'm going to be going over 3 of the main reasons why people fail with Amazon FBA. Today, in 2020, Amazon has made it tremendously simple for the average person to build a store on their platform that produces revenues anywhere from 4 to 5 to 6, even 7 figures and beyond in revenue, okay? Amazon has made it tremendously simple. However, there are some people who have a difficult time succeeding on the Amazon FBA business. And out of all the reasons that myself and Jonathan have seen why people have a tremendously hard time succeeding on Amazon, it all boils down to a couple main reasons. We see it time and time again, no matter what type of industry they're in, whether it's private label, wholesale, no matter what country they're in, it always boils down to a couple main reasons, okay? So that's the purpose of this video. We took 3 of those main reasons and kind of blew them up, and we want to go over them in today's video, okay? So that was the whole purpose. Again, today's video, it's 3 reasons why people fail with Amazon FBA. So the first reason why people fail with Amazon FBA is because they are not focused. People who decide, okay, I want to build a business on Amazon, they decide this mainly because they want the lifestyle that the Amazon FBA business can bring. They're generally chasing the financial freedom. They have heard about some of the outrageous amounts of money people have been able to produce with the Amazon FBA stores, and that's simply what they are chasing. They don't really have any business background. They don't have any expertise in selling products to consumers, nothing like that. So they just want to come off the street basically and become business owners, and they don't really have any idea of what it takes to go from A to Z basically, okay? So again, most people are not focused. They don't really dive in and really do what it takes to get the knowledge to succeed. They don't make building the business an actual priority. Therefore, they just put in, half-ass results. They put in, limited amounts of time here and there. And they generally never really see any momentum or success with it. Typically, to get success in anything that you start out new in, anything that you start from scratch, you have to, give it a consistent effort. You need to do things, repeatedly, day after day to make it a habit and to really see efforts. To apply that to Amazon, you need to, call up multiple suppliers to get the best supplier with the best pricing. You need to, for example, analyze multiple products day after day in different categories, different types of products, different weights, different sizes, calculating shipping to really get a feel for the best types of products. You need to be doing, searches on Google. You need to be constantly refreshing your education, the information, all that stuff, okay? So that's what we mean by you're not being focused. Another way that you could relate it to being not focused and why people fail. Again, most people are chasing the Amazon FBA dream and the lifestyle that the business can bring, the financial freedom, however. So that's why most people get signed up with the business. Typically after that shiny object syndrome typically wears off after the first couple of weeks, people then put their attention on other money-making schemes like, selling on eBay, selling on Walmart, Bitcoin, real estate, multi-level marketing schemes, those sorts of things, right? So people's attention tend to really vary off after, they get involved with the Amazon and they realize that it's going to take, a lot of upfront work, a lot of research, a lot of educating, really changing yourself as a person. And then, something else catches their attention. They see a flashy car or a YouTube ad or somebody flashing a bunch of cash, in a Facebook ad, and that just takes their attention right off of the Amazon business that they were initially starting up and initially had the potential to create any lifestyle that they ever dreamed of. All that they really had to do was just sit down, focus, dedicate their time, and just start building their business and just letting things unfold and just, again, building that business out. And it all starts with being focused. The second reason why we see most people failing or not having success with Amazon FBA is due to knowledge overload, okay? This may seem very simple, or you may think, oh, this could never happen to me. Well, knowledge overload is definitely a real thing. I've seen it happen to many, many people, especially beginners. They fall victim to knowledge overload. Allow me to explain. So I see a lot of beginners, in the online forums, in the Facebook groups, asking a bunch of questions. Again, typically people who are starting out fall victim to the knowledge overload, mainly because they don't want to pay for coaching or a course or any sort of structured mentorship. And I completely understand. I was once in your shoes. I was once the beginner who was very, very skeptical about paying for any sort of coaching or mentorship or any sort of paid trainings or anything like that. Okay, so I totally understand. But the problem with not paying for this guided or this structured courses is that you rely on all the stuff that's on the internet. You're on Google, you're on YouTube, you're in the Facebook groups, and you're just pulling out information from everybody. You're asking questions, random people are answering, and you're just absorbing everything. You may be reading things that are true, but there's a good chance you're reading things that are not true, or you're reading things that are, half true. And what this does, it just gives you the wrong impression. It gives you all of the wrong resources. And basically, when you start to build your Amazon business, you're doing it with a shoddy foundation. You're doing it with not all the right pieces, and that will only set you up for failure or disaster later on down the road. And that typically looks like or comes in the form of losing money somehow. You make wrong purchasing decisions, you'll get set up with wrong suppliers, you'll do wrong settings in your account, and things will just won't work out for you, okay? Again, the problem with piecing together random information is that you're piecing together too much, and you're piecing together things that are not 100% accurate, okay? So let's just say you spend the entire week or even an entire month, which sounds more realistic, searching YouTube, reading the online forums, in the Facebook groups, asking questions, and just really building out a bunch of knowledge, right? You spend, let's just say, a month doing that, okay? So you pile up all your information, and then you start out building your business, okay? So you've already spent, the month or so gathering your information. Very well, some of that is probably wrong, and then you go and start building your business. You have a bunch of roadblocks because you have half results or half information. And then you go back to these forums, you get more half information, and you start setting things up in your account. Things aren't working properly. You're back on the forums asking questions. All of a sudden, that 1 month of initial information and research, you're 6 months in, you still haven't made any sales. You're referring to your YouTube videos and pieces of broken information, and it's just a whole painful process for you. You're not really getting the results. You're not making any money. You're probably losing money, and again, you're just wasting time. You're wasting the opportunity. Sure, Amazon is great right now, and I have all hopes and all the faith in the world that it's going to be around, for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. But let's be real, the opportunity is with us right now, and the best thing to do with opportunities that are present right now is to seize them and start taking advantage of them while they are hot. Because the reality is, people every day, new people are getting on the platform, new people are learning how to use the platform, and that opportunity window just keeps shrinking. Again, even though the opportunity or the pie is so big, every day that we allow it to continue to get past us without taking advantage, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, right? So again, the second reason why we see people failing or having a hard time with Amazon FBA is the fact that they are just getting knowledge from everywhere. They're not really vetting who's giving them the knowledge. They're not really checking the source. And people are just afraid to invest in coaching or structured mentorship. Although that coaching may be, expensive, or you'd have to pay some sort of cost to get in that coaching or that mentorship or that paid training. But a good training or good program will have everything laid out module by module for you to follow along. There'll be things in there that you will have never ever known or never even thought to have asked in these Facebook groups or in these forums. So those are the things that'll get you every time, right? The unknown unknowns. I'll tell you guys an example of an unknown for my business. So I live in Canada. I'm a Canadian selling in the US. So I was taking Canadian currency, transferring it into the US. So I would have to get it converted. So every time I would convert my Canadian into US, I would get a fee from my bank, and then I would purchase my US inventory with a credit card. I would sell the inventory. Amazon would pay my bank account in the US, and then I would have to convert that US currency back into Canadian so I could pay myself and pay my staff and all that stuff, right? So when I was first starting out, my very, very first couple of months, right up to my first year of selling on Amazon, I was doing all these transactions through the bank. So just to give you guys a little insight on that, that is the most absolute expensive way that you can transfer money between Canada and US is through your bank, okay? So I had absolutely no idea. That was an unknown that I completely missed out on, okay? I'll give you guys a little foreshadow on this now. After I found out what I was doing, I realized that I was basically wasting anywhere from $500 to $800 every single month when I was transferring currency back between Canadian and US dollars, okay? Because I was doing it through my bank. So that was an unknown that I had no idea of, okay? So if I had just gotten a mentor at the time, or had paid for some sort of coaching, I could have asked them questions about transferring money between Canada and the US, and it would have saved me probably, no joke, in that first year, probably at least $5,000, maybe $5,000 to $6,000 easily in my first year, okay? Not to mention moving into the second year as we started to scale up, and that was myself and Jonathan, so you can times that by 2. If we had just paid for coaching or mentorship in our very, very beginning years, we would have saved all that money, okay? So that's a good reason right there of not cheaping out and just going straight for the mentorship if you can do that, okay? And the third reason why we see people struggle or have a hard time or fail with Amazon FBA is because they don't have the proper tools for their business, okay? So just like this little illustration right here, I know it's really simple, really trivial. For those of you who don't understand this, this is a wrench and it's being used or applied on a nail. So that is the improper or incorrect way to basically move this nail. You need a hammer, okay? Wrenches are not supposed to be used on nails. So basically, yeah, people just don't use or leverage the proper tools for their Amazon business. Again, I see these questions all the time in the comments or in the Facebook forums, Facebook groups. People are asking, how do I do product research? How do I do research on this? How do I calculate profits? How do I calculate shipping times, this and that? And basically, it all boils down to people are not using the proper tools for their business, okay? mainly because there's most of the good tools come with a cost. That's what I find. Most of the tools that are going to save you the most amount of money or the most amount of time, they typically come with a cost, okay? And rightfully so. It takes time to build these tools. It takes time and money to maintain them, and most of them, they need servers and all this stuff to run them. They need customer service, all that stuff. So it makes sense to charge a cost for them. I don't have any problems paying for tools or software. Again, if they're going to make me money, or if they're going to save me time in my business, then absolutely it's a no-brainer, right? Because the alternative to that is I have to put the extra time in, or I have to sacrifice, risking wasting any money. So again, if I need a tool or a piece of software for my business, I'm definitely going to get it. The big reason why people are failing and not having the right tools, where I see this being the biggest problem, is when people are doing the product research. People are not using any tools. They're not using tools like Keepa to go back and track the entire history on a product. They're just cheaping out. They're using the free version. They're not getting access to all the data. So they're making misinformed decisions when they're buying their inventory. So ultimately, all that does is result in a loss of money, loss of revenues, right? So that all adds up over a year. So again, having the proper tools. If it boils down to you having to pay for a tool or a piece of software, just evaluate it, read the reviews. If this can help generate money in my business, does it make sense? Most times, yes. If this can help free up some time or somebody else's time in my business, does this make sense? Most times it does. If this can help increase revenues somehow in my business, does this make sense? Most times it does. Then absolutely go ahead, get that tool. Most times you can cancel and get your money back. No harm, no loss. You might as well try it out, right? I'll ask you guys a question. Just think about it like this. If a brick and mortar store had the opportunity to subscribe or get a tool that would help them generate an extra $500 or an extra $1,000 a month in their business, do you think they would pass it up? Do you think they would have to really think about it? I don't think so. If you went to Walmart and said, hey guys, here's a tool, it's going to cost you guys $100,000 a month, but it could increase your revenues by $1 million a month. What do you think? Or it could reduce your return ratio by 45%. You guys want to give it a try? They'll be like, of course, sign us up. So again, you should have the same mindset in your guys' business. Any types of tools or software, be skeptical, of course. Read the reviews, do your homework on them, but definitely I would entertain them, and I wouldn't just throw them away just because they cost money, okay, or subscription based. Most of the best tools do cost money every single month. So just a quick recap here, guys, of what we talked about in this video. Again, you guys need to stay focused at the task at hand. Make your Amazon business a priority, and you need to make sure that you're setting time aside to work on your Amazon business. Next thing we need to recap on is you need to be getting advice from a mentor, or you need to be going through some sort of structured course, okay? If not, I promise you guys are going to get lost in all the detail, all the little nitty gritty that everybody else is putting out in their own little Amazon communities. You guys are going to get lost in misinformation. You're going to be taking in too much of the wrong stuff. And again, it's ultimately just going to lead to frustration, downtime, and a lot of waste of money. Okay, guys? If you can afford it, go out, get a course, get a mentor, invest in something that's going to lead you down a path to results. Okay, guys? Don't be cheap in your Amazon business. You need to be investing in the tools and the software that it's either going to maximize profits, maximize and leverage time, or increase with your product efficiency, your product turnover, things like that, okay? Invest in tools that are going to grow your Amazon business. It was a great video, guys. It was a pleasure sharing my experiences with you. I love doing that. That's why we created the channel. Our goal is to create a community of strong, knowledgeable Amazon sellers who are generating great profits and just ultimately learning everything that it takes to build a successful Amazon business, okay? If you guys are serious about building and growing an Amazon business, you guys absolutely need to be a part of our Facebook group. It's a great discussion filled with some really experienced, knowledgeable Amazon sellers. I promise if you guys have any questions at all, come over to the group, drop them in the group, and you'll get them answered. No doubt about it. Like I said, there are professionals in there from all different industries on Amazon. We have wholesalers, we have people with private label, prep centers, shipping companies, all that stuff. We have lots of knowledge in those groups. So again, trust me, if you have any questions at all, make sure you come over, drop them in the group, okay? And again, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that you are hitting the subscribe button at the bottom of our videos. That keeps you guys up to date. Make sure you're hitting the notification bell so you guys stay notified when we put any new content out on the channel. If you guys have any questions at all, make sure you drop them in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.